Let me break this down for you in the simplest, rawest way possible. Pressure isn't your enemy. Pressure is your greatest ally. It's the force that separates the weak from the strong, the ordinary from the legendary. Every single person who has ever achieved anything worth remembering faced crushing pressure, and instead of running, they leaned in. They didn't just survive it, they used it to become unstoppable. Think about it. Diamonds don't form in comfortable places. They're created under extreme pressure, heat, and force. And guess what? You're no different. If you want to be great, you have to go through the fire. There's no way around it. The moment you feel that weight, that stress, that fear, that's your signal. That's the universe testing you, asking, how bad do you really want this? Weak people crumble under pressure, but legends, they thrive in it. You want success? You want power? You want respect? Then stop crying about how hard it is. Pressure is the price of admission. Every champion, every warrior, every king in history had to endure moments where everything was on the line. And when their back was against the wall, they didn't make excuses. They fought harder. That's the mindset you need. When the pressure mounts, you don't shrink. You grow. You don't panic. You focus. You don't quit. You dominate. This is your wake-up call. The world doesn't care about your struggles. It only cares about your results. So the next time you feel the heat, remember, pressure doesn't break legends. It builds them. Now get out there and prove you're made of more. The concept that pressure reveals true strength is not just a motivational idea, but a fundamental law of nature. Every living being on this planet faces some form of pressure, whether it's physical, emotional, or psychological. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail lies in how they respond to that pressure. Weakness cannot hide when the stakes are high. Comfort zones are where dreams go to die, because nothing grows there. True strength is not about how much you can lift in the gym or how many followers you have online. It's about how you handle yourself when everything is on the line, when the world is watching, when failure is not an option, when the pressure is suffocating. That's when your real character is exposed. There are no masks, no filters, no excuses in those moments. You either rise or you fall. You either prove you're built for greatness or you reveal that you were never meant to have it. Pressure is the ultimate test because it doesn't care about your potential. It doesn't care about what you could do or what you almost achieved. Pressure only cares about what you do right now in this moment. That's why so many people fail when it matters most. They spend their lives talking about what they're capable of, but when the lights are brightest, they choke. They freeze. They collapse under the weight of expectation. But the ones who are truly strong, they don't just survive pressure. They thrive in it. They use it as fuel. They welcome the challenge because they know it's the only way to separate themselves from the weak. Pressure doesn't create strength. It reveals it. And if you crumble when it matters most, then you never had that strength to begin with. Think about the greatest figures in history, the warriors, the leaders, the innovators. None of them became legends by avoiding pressure. They became legends by conquering it. Alexander the Great didn't build an empire by playing it safe. He marched into impossible battles and won because he was unshakable under pressure. Michael Jordan didn't become the greatest by folding in the fourth quarter. He demanded the ball when the game was on the line. Elon Musk didn't revolutionize industries by fearing failure. He risked everything, knowing that pressure was the price of greatness. These people didn't just handle pressure, they demanded it. They knew that without pressure, there is no growth. Without pressure, there is no legacy. Without pressure, you're just another face in the crowd. The modern world has made people soft. We live in an era where comfort is prioritized over challenge, where safety is valued more than growth. People run from pressure instead of running toward it. They avoid stress instead of embracing it. They numb themselves with distractions instead of facing the fire. And then they wonder why they feel weak, why they feel unfulfilled, why they never achieve anything meaningful. It's because they've never been tested. They've never been pushed to their limits. They've never had to dig deep and find out what they're really made of. Pressure is not your enemy, it's your teacher. It shows you where you're weak so you can get stronger. It exposes your flaws so you can fix them. It strips away the illusions and forces you to confront reality. If you want to know who you really are, put yourself under pressure. The truth will come out fast. Most people spend their lives running from discomfort. They choose the easy job, the easy relationship, the easy path. They avoid conflict. They avoid risk. They avoid anything that might push them outside their comfort zone. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, why they feel like they're not living up to their potential. It's because they've never allowed themselves to be tested. They've never faced real pressure. Strength is not something you're born with. It's something you build. And the only way to build it is to put yourself in situations where you have no choice but to grow. That means taking on challenges that scare you. That means embracing the grind when everyone else is quitting. That means standing tall when the weight of the world is on your shoulders. Pressure doesn't just reveal strength, it creates it. But only if you're willing to face it head on. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is what you do under pressure. Anyone can look good when things are easy. Anyone can talk a big game when there's nothing on the line. But when the pressure hits, most people fold. They make excuses, they blame others, they give up. But the ones who are destined for greatness, they don't just endure pressure, they use it. They let it sharpen them. They let it focus them. They let it bring out the best in them. Pressure is like a refiner's fire. It burns away the impurities and leaves only what's real. If you want to know what someone is truly made of, watch how they act when the stakes are high. Do they rise to the occasion or do they crumble? Do they push forward or do they retreat? Pressure doesn't lie. It shows you exactly who you are. And if you don't like what it reveals, then you have work to do. The path to greatness is not a straight line. It's a series of battles, a series of tests, a series of moments where pressure tries to break you. And every time you face that pressure and overcome it, you become stronger, you become wiser, you become more resilient. That's why the most successful people in the world seem unfazed by chaos. It's not that they don't feel pressure, it's that they've learned how to use it. They've been tested so many times that they know exactly how they'll respond. They've built a mindset that thrives under fire. And that's what you need to do if you want to be more than average. You need to seek out pressure. You need to challenge yourself constantly. You need to put yourself in situations where failure is not an option. Because that's the only way to discover what you're truly capable of. Pressure doesn't build legends by accident. It builds them by design. And if you want to be one of them, you have to be willing to step into the fire. The human mind operates at its highest level when pushed to the edge. Comfort breeds distraction, while pressure forces absolute clarity. When everything is on the line, there is no room for wandering thoughts or half-hearted efforts. The weight of consequence strips away all non-essentials, leaving only what truly matters. In razor-sharp definition, this is why elite performers in every field create pressure intentionally. They understand it's the ultimate focusing agent. The average person sees pressure as something to avoid, but champions recognize it as their secret weapon. When the world expects you to fail, when the odds stack against you, when the clock is ticking. That's when your vision narrows to laser precision. Distractions fade into irrelevance, and your entire being aligns with the task at hand. This is not theory, but biological fact. Stress hormones heighten alertness while shutting down unnecessary cognitive functions. Pressure doesn't cloud your mind, it clears it. Consider the difference between practicing alone and performing under lights with thousands watching. The moves may be identical, but the mental state transforms completely. What felt difficult in training becomes instinctual under pressure because your brain shifts into survival mode. This phenomenon explains why athletes often achieve personal bests during competition, not practice. The same principle applies to entrepreneurs facing make-or-break deals or soldiers in life-or-death situations. Pressure creates an environment where focus isn't optional, it's mandatory for survival. Your brain's filtering mechanisms become hyper-efficient, discarding anything unrelated to immediate success. Time distorts. Minutes feel like hours because your perception sharpens so dramatically. This is the zone where ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things, simply because pressure forced them to eliminate all mental clutter. The key is understanding this state can be accessed intentionally, not just endured passively. Modern society suffers from unprecedented distraction, yet complains about lacking focus. The irony is painful. People medicate themselves into numbness, then wonder why they can't concentrate. Pressure provides the antidote by creating consequences severe enough to override our addiction to comfort. Examine any high-stakes environment, from emergency rooms to trading floors, and you'll find professionals operating with intense focus, not because they're special, but because their circumstances demand it. The military understands this principle better than anyone. They simulate extreme pressure in training precisely to condition this focused state. When bullets fly, there's no time for second-guessing or self-doubt. The same mental discipline can be cultivated in civilian life by voluntarily placing yourself under productive pressure. Deadlines, competitions, public commitments. These are all tools to sharpen your focus by raising the stakes. The mind only gives what the situation requires, which is why comfortable environments produce mediocre results. The relationship between pressure and focus follows immutable psychological laws. Parkinson's law states, work expands to fill available time, remove time pressure, and focus dissipates. The Yerkes-Dodson curve demonstrates performance peaks under moderate pressure, then declines under extreme stress. Mastery lies in operating at that peak where pressure optimizes focus without causing overload. This explains why successful people constantly push their limits. They're calibrating their pressure threshold. The amateur avoids all stress, while the professional seeks just enough to maximize concentration. Think of a surgeon performing a complex procedure or a pilot navigating turbulent weather. Their training teaches them to harness pressure's focusing power without being overwhelmed by it. This balance separates those who thrive under pressure from those who crack. Your ability to maintain diamond-cut focus amidst chaos becomes your greatest competitive advantage in any field. History's greatest breakthroughs often emerged from high-pressure environments. Scientific revolutions frequently occur during wars. Artistic masterpieces get created under financial duress. Technological innovations accelerate in competitive markets. These aren't coincidences, but demonstrations of pressure's focusing effect. When resources are scarce, when time is limited, when failure carries severe consequences, creativity and productivity skyrocket. The brain's problem-solving capabilities multiply when properly challenged. This explains why comfortable societies stagnate while struggling nations innovate. Pressure forces prioritization. You can't waste energy on trivialities when survival is at stake. Modern productivity hacks attempt to simulate this effect with artificial constraints, but they lack the teeth of real consequences. True focus comes from knowing there's no safety net, from understanding that what you're doing matters at the deepest level. This is why self-imposed pressure often fails. The mind knows the difference between real stakes and pretend ones. The most focused individuals in any field share one trait. They've learned to love pressure, not just endure it, but actively seek it out. They understand that pressure is the whetstone that sharpens their mental edge. While others panic under stress, these individuals enter a state of hyper-awarenessness, where solutions appear with crystal clarity. This ability isn't innate, but trained through repeated exposure. Just as muscles grow through resistance, mental focus develops through overcoming challenges. Each time you voluntarily face pressure, you expand your capacity for concentrated effort. The first few experiences may feel overwhelming, but eventually your mind adapts to treat pressure as fuel rather than threat. This transformation marks the difference between amateurs and professionals, between strugglers and masters. The path to unbeatable focus runs directly through the fire of pressure. There are no shortcuts around this truth. Ultimate focus comes from ultimate responsibility. When the outcome rests entirely on your shoulders, when there's no one else to blame, when the cost of failure is unacceptable, that's when mental clarity reaches its zenith. Pressure strips away all illusions and forces you to confront reality with undivided attention. This explains why people perform better when others are counting on them, why accountability supercharges results. The weight of expectation doesn't crush you, it centers you. Every great leader, artist, athlete, and innovator has experienced this phenomenon. They don't achieve focus through relaxation techniques, but by embracing massive responsibility. The moment you accept that everything depends on your performance is the moment distractions become impossible. This is the secret weapon of high achievers. They don't run from pressure, they run toward it, because they know it's the only thing that can unlock their full potential. Your ability to focus under fire determines your ceiling in any endeavor. The question isn't whether you can handle pressure, but whether you're brave enough to seek it out. The grind is where ordinary lives end and extraordinary destinies begin. It's the daily choice to show up when no one is watching, to push when no one is cheering, to persist when every fiber of your being screams to quit. The grind doesn't care about your feelings, your excuses, or your circumstances. It only responds to one thing: relentless, consistent action. Most people run from the grind because it reveals uncomfortable truths about their discipline, their work ethic, their commitment. But champions understand something fundamental. The grind is the price of admission for greatness. There are no shortcuts. No magic pills, no overnight successes. Every legendary achievement was built on a mountain of unglamorous, unseen effort. The difference between those who make it and those who don't comes down to who embraces the grind and who tries to avoid it. The grind teaches lessons that no classroom ever could. It shows you what you're truly made of. When the initial motivation fades, when results don't come immediately, when the world seems indifferent to your efforts. This is where character is forged, in those lonely hours of repetition and refinement. The gym at 5 a.m. when everyone else is sleeping. The extra hours studying when friends are out having fun. The countless failed attempts before the first sign of success. These moments separate warriors from spectators. The grind isn't about talent or luck. It's about showing up day after day, regardless of how you feel. It's about falling in love with the process rather than obsessing over outcomes. Those who master this mindset unlock superhuman levels of achievement because while others are waiting for perfect conditions, they're putting in the work that guarantees results. Modern society has conditioned people to expect instant gratification, making the grind seem outdated. But the laws of success haven't changed. They've just been forgotten. Social media highlights results while hiding the years of struggle behind them. People see the championship win, but not the decade of training. They see the business success, but not the sleepless nights and failed ventures. This distorted view creates unrealistic expectations and fragile ambitions. The truth remains unchanged. mastery requires countless hours of deliberate practice. Whether in sports, arts, business, or any field, the pattern is identical. The 10,000-hour rule isn't just a theory, but an observable reality. Those who embrace this truth and commit to the daily grind eventually surpass more talented individuals who lack discipline. The grind is the great equalizer. It rewards those willing to pay the price, regardless of starting point. Psychological research confirms what high achievers have always known. Willpower operates like a muscle that strengthens with use. Every time you choose the grind over comfort, you increase your capacity for future challenges. This explains why successful people seem to have endless discipline. They've built it through repeated acts of overcoming resistance. The morning run in freezing weather, the extra hour of practice when exhausted, the decision to work rather than scroll. These small victories compound into unshakable mental toughness. Consider nature's wisdom. Trees that face constant wind develop deeper roots. Muscles that face resistance grow stronger. Bones that bear weight increase density. Human potential follows the same biological principles. Without the grind, we remain weak, untested, and unfulfilled. Those who understand this seek out challenges rather than avoid them. Knowing each difficulty overcome makes them more capable for the next level. Legendary performers across fields share one common trait. They've learned to love the grind, not just endure it, but find fulfillment in the daily struggle. They understand that the grind is where magic happens, where skills sharpen, where confidence builds, where dreams become reality. This mindset shift transforms work from burden to privilege. Instead of asking, why do I have to do this? They ask, who will I become by doing this? This reframe changes everything. The grind stops being punishment and becomes preparation. The extra mile isn't extra anymore. It's standard. This is how ordinary people achieve extraordinary things, by falling in love with the process rather than fixating on the prize. When you embrace the grind, you unlock sustainable motivation that doesn't fluctuate with circumstances or emotion. The ultimate test of commitment comes when no one is watching, when no applause is coming, when results seem distant. This is where most quit and where champions are made. The grind reveals your true why. Are you doing this for external validation or internal fulfillment? Those who last understand that the grind isn't a means to an end, but the path itself. They find joy in the sweat, the effort, the small daily improvements. This perspective creates unstoppable momentum, because when you love the work, the results become inevitable. History remembers those who embrace the grind while forgetting those who sought shortcuts. Your legacy will be built not on lucky breaks, but on the foundation of daily, disciplined effort. The question isn't whether you're capable of greatness, but whether you're willing to pay the price through years of grinding when no one cares. That decision alone determines everything. So when the world tries to crush you with pressure, when the weight feels unbearable and the stakes seem impossible, remember this: pressure doesn't break legends, it builds them. Every ounce of resistance, every moment of struggle, every second of discomfort is another layer of strength being forged into your legacy. The fire that burns you today is the same fire that will harden you into something unstoppable. History doesn't remember those who played it safe. It remembers those who stood tall when the pressure was on. So the next time life tightens its grip, smile. Because pressure isn't your enemy. It's your proving ground. It's the final test before greatness. Now go out there, embrace the heat, and let the world watch as you become legendary. The stage is set. The pressure is on. What will you do?